Hey, loves, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. And I have to stop and say thank you to everyone that's a new follower. And do know you have so much content available when you click on the playlist. So if you're here on the channel via YouTube, you can click on the playlist and you can go all the way back to 2012, probably with relationship topics that are available. If you go directly to the playlist, What D Says, the podcast, I'm your host, D Shields. I appreciate everyone that stops by. I even added on for people who may be public followers of my reels on Facebook. This is an opportunity for you to take a listen. And if you like what you hear, you could go over to YouTube. And on YouTube, loves, you can click on the playlist and you can see What D Says, the podcast, and you can listen to hours and hours. I highly suggest it if you are on a flight and you want to distract yourself with some content. I highly suggest that you download the topics that relate to your lifestyle, as well as you can listen wherever you listen to podcasts. What D Says, the podcast, you can take a listen and download from that area also, and just listen to the content on a road trip. This I have enough content that will take you from deep south all the way through the hours it takes to get through from the bottom of Texas to the panhandle, all the way through to New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, and Kansas. However long you're driving, there is enough podcast content available. You can do hashtag IMD Shields over in any podcast platform so you can take a look at the things that I have across those platforms. And most importantly, YouTube, where the channel is doing most of the work these days. YouTube.com/IMD Shields for anyone that is listening and you're not currently live on the app. So, we're going to talk tonight about some of the latest developments that are going on. I did want to stop by some other TikTok platforms that sent some invites in. You guys, I see that you're live. So I definitely want to stop by and take a look at that. But I want to drop some content for people to be able to take a listen to later when they have their free time. Or if you do decide that you are available and you want to come in there and add some thoughts, all you have to do to join the live is I will quickly put this invite in the comments. I actually said that I did it, and I had not made that happen for you guys yet. So that is available. And for those who have been paying attention from TikTok on and the different platforms that I've been sitting on the guest panel for, I have a cold. And it definitely has been a lot. And I have some, if you want me to share those mucus draining tips that I was able to learn just to try to get this thing that's going around is mainly uncomfortable for people because of the mucus. So I have some tips on that. If you want me to share that, I will do that later. But we really got to get into these hot topics that are impacting millions, okay? Millions. So what I'm going to do over there, if I have not did that for you guys yet, it should be available in the comments. If you are on Facebook and you don't see the invite to join the live, all you have to do is just click on YouTube and you'll see the live on YouTube. When you go to YouTube and you see the live, go to the comments, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and you can go to the comments and click on there and you'll see the link. If you want to jump up and add your thoughts and wisdom on some things that I'm going to talk about tonight. All right. So, again, join the live. The link is in the comments. If you want to join the live, follow me over there on youtube.com/IMD Shields. You're able to get those thoughts going, and you'll be able to follow the comment link to bring you on the platform. If you would like to show your beautiful face, feel free to do so. It's not mandatory. You can turn off your camera as you see, because I am like blanket all in heavy hoodie and definitely have my lemon drink going and everything for how this pneumonia. I saw that the Pope had pneumonia, like a really bad pneumonia that has him laid down. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me call the Pope. Yeah, I get that like that sometimes. Like I call the Pope. I'm like, let me call the Pope and tell him some of my tips that I found. Have him breathing beautifully the next day and just kind of slowly healing a little faster than normal. But the Pope got it. He got the top people, so he all right. He probably don't need me tonight, right? All right. So let's prayers for the Pope because I know if he's got anything that feels like this that so many of us have had is. But I found some tips to get through it from being able to talk out, on a couple of platforms and move around today, which was really difficult to do in the thick of it 24 hours ago. And yes, like it's passing pretty quickly, probably about 48 hours of feeling it, but that mucus side of it was definitely challenging 24 hours ago. And I found some solutions and tips from some doctors that really worked really well. Okay, so here's what we're talking about right now within the last hour. We have so much that we're talking about. Before I forget, if you're on my channel, you see that I already did it over there on YouTube. But congratulations to Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. I know that that was a lot, and even to ASAP Rocky, I hope that that doesn't cause a forever disturbance in his friendship with that person. Maybe after all this is all said and done, those guys can go back to working it out. But I'm pretty sure that is going to take some months, Sundays, and years to get to because that was just that trial was something else, right? So we'll see whether or not that can even that friendship can repair, right? Like, how do you get past, all the things that were talked about in that trial? But congratulations, the jury came back with a verdict. ASAP ran into the arms of Rihanna by jumping over the pew. Great thing to see if you haven't seen that footage, but the jury came back and found ASAP Rocky, the artist, not guilty. They came back and found him not guilty. Diddy definitely took a look at that and said, yes, gave him some hope, right? And I always say, innocent. Innocent until proven differently in a court of law. And this court of law decided that he was, yes, innocent, not guilty, and that's a done deal for him on that, right? And so let's get on into what's happening across the nation and certain things that I thought I could see this impacting people even more. As if the things that have happened so far over the last few weeks hasn't impacted. We saw the federal agencies did some immediate layoffs. We've seen a lot of changes. I heard today about some changes that are happening with the Department of Education. Every time I see something, I run and go get that super thick 900-page document called Project 2025, and I look at it and just do a little check mark like, yep, they got around to that. So if you haven't read it, you definitely should read it because it's already been laid out there for you. We told you guys last summer about reading that document. So a lot of this is not really a shock. Just going back and reading through. I read something today on the page, maybe page 319, maybe not. I think page 319. Yeah, go read page 319, Project 2025. Okay? Again, for those who are just joining on the other platforms, I appreciate you. And just know my voice is like, it doesn't want to be my friend tonight. So if I sound, yeah, that's the reason why. All right, so first we'll talk about the USPS. Yep, United States Postal Services. The leader fired, resigned, stepped down. All of that seems to mean the same thing these days. And it's huge, because one of the agendas that has been talked about on that particular administration's campaign trails, and even when you take a look at the language that is in the document, that is the mandate for leadership for Donald Trump, the Project 2025, they talk about closing down the USPS and how it is not significant of for them in their mind of an organization that it needs to exist. So when I see the USPS leader, I know the workers are probably just as nervous because when you see that the leader who has been struggling over the last 5 years with the pandemic and just a host of other things that you have seen, just unfold under that individual's leadership, when you see all that happening and you're like, oh, wow. Because, maybe he was holding out and refused to resign, and maybe that's why it ended up getting reported as being fired, but something major is shifting, and I'm concerned, as we will talk about in a minute, about the jobs. I am concerned. I have said this time and time again. I am concerned about the future of the jobs. Okay, I am concerned about the future of the jobs, and you see, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. All right, so the USPS leader has stepped down, so we'll be taking a look at that closely. How do you say, um, just monitoring that is, and just seeing. And the reason why that one really stood out quickly to me, because I saw the federal agency layoffs and I saw the payouts that were offered. I've heard rumors that payouts are not going to be paid out as promised, and nobody's confirmed that for me. So that you guys don't worry, don't get too stressed out because that might just be chatter online. But, so there's the people that decided to take the deferred and took the payouts. And so a lot of people are no longer working. And if you're getting a payout or severance package of any kind, well, that's, that can be a cushion to go through a stage of not working for 3 or 4 years. And you could take a couple of years off with that kind of money, maybe budget plan and relocate, and maybe even you could possibly take courses in that time frame and go into a whole different career. So there's things that can happen with severance pay and deferred payments paid out, but without that money, that's a lot. And so my prayers are with all of those whose jobs are impacted by that. And so when I saw the USPS leader step down, and I know about that talk, and going on into different documents, and the chatter that I see online, and looking in the things that I read within Project 2025, if they close those agencies, if they close the United States Postal Services, allegedly, if they close this, how many more minority jobs are going to be impacted? A lot of jobs are going to be impacted, but a lot of these organizations that you're looking at are impacting Black people. A lot of these organizations that you're seeing under a major hit, I have to say things carefully on these apps because they don't like certain words, but a lot of these agencies under going through are jobs where Blacks work. We work in these industries, we work in these office spaces. And so you today, USPS leader fired, tomorrow what? Given a deadline and a countdown to when you're going to close. Are you going to close them overnight? Because that would be all kind of structure chaos to close. Just like, I hope that's it. We've seen so much unpredictable stuff happening hour by hour, day after day since the inauguration, that we're just unsure about how you will go about doing things. We want to always talk in the stance of, well, that's not professional, and an individual shouldn't do things like that. We love to kind of come at people, we come at the topic in that manner, but look, this they're not moving in that way, right? So with them not really going, standing with them, not using those rules, standing by those rules. You guys, did I get that link going? Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I just to make sure I had that link on there. With them not really following through on those type of rules, and what thing, decorum, and tact and respect for people actually being impacted, and they just willy nilly, as he said in a press conference at Mar-a-Lago today. I really, 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 really worship those guys that are doing the work with Doge. They're heroes. I worship those guys. I would something the way that he said it, like they're kings, they're gods. That's not what he said, but that's the paraphrase of that. The things that they're finding and doing and fixing. So those little young kids are, and they're young, so they're just kind of like all out there. They're really smart. They know what they're doing according to the leader, and they're just going through and eliminating and cutting and making phone calls. And hey, guess what? You're fired today. Don't come back. In a real unprofessional kind of mindset. So yeah, it's kind of hard to know if the USPS leader has stepped down and is fired, or resigned and he steps down and he no longer is coming back tomorrow, what does that mean for USPS locations across the nation? What does that mean for jobs across the nation? Are those jobs secure? And what are the answers for those individuals? Who's going to get out there and get those answers, right? Journalists, it's your turn, right, to really get some answers. These are people's families. Jump ahead of these things. This is why I like to have an open dialogue about it. Like, let's town hall as much as we can, because this is people's livelihood, okay? Right? All right. And then I wanted to talk about um, mm, hmm, I don't want to get too into it because there's so much that's going on with that. But the FDA leader has resigned as well, right? And with the FDA leader resigning, and we have all these food recalls going, and then when you look at I bring you back to this document all the time because it's everything that's going on, and it's right there. That way you're not so lost. If you go back and read Project 2025, read this mandate of leadership that was written for Donald Trump. It says it on the first couple of pages, written for Donald Trump. So it's written for him, and with it, they have the Department of Agriculture changes that they would like to see happen. Has I think I went it through maybe over 10 pages. A lot of changes that they want to make happen. The Department of Education, a lot of changes that they want to make happen. The Department of Health, a lot of changes that they want to make happen. Written right there for you. Don't have to have any questions. Everything that they said that it wasn't, it is. Everything that they would say that, oh, that's just Kamala Harris talking. No, it's not. It's a real document. Has everything that you see happening in the news is in the document that we read last year when she told us to read it, right? So with the Department of Agriculture making a lot of changes, so the FDA leader resigns. They have a lot of changes that they want to make. Where does that stand with groceries, with farmers, with food, with people feeding their families, or what's going to happen to the prices? You see the prices of eggs went up. There's a major egg shortage going on. You see a lot of recalls happening, and I said that I was going to talk about those recalls because a lot of the recalls, when I was reading through, you go, you take a look at the official websites regarding the recall, and it's usually not pictures and stuff and all the pretty stuff that happens in the media. It's like a lot of verbiage and you have to read through it. But as a paralegal, that's what I like to do. So I like to go through and do my due diligence and read through and critical think my way through the language to see what's happening. A lot of the recalls have just simply recalled because of an allergen is not listed on the package. Recall, change the label. Recall, I'm kind of paraphrasing. Recall this, change the label, put the allergen on there, put the milk allergen on there, put the nut allergen on there, because this is people's lives. And without that allergen, not telling people what's in food, not telling people what's in our lotions, what's in our shampoos and conditioners, what's in our products, moisturizers, face wash. Not telling people can be bad when people have major allergies that could impact quality of life. So some of the recalls are saying, and that could take a while. Who knows how long it takes for a company to throw away everything that they've had to recall and remake packages and then go through the process of trying to get them back out. And then you got the tariffs going on and switching things up on whether or not you're going to be able to do made in the USA, or what are you going to do? Because are you going to continue to work with, the prices that are increasing and the tariffs that are going on? Or are you going to just be able to say, okay, I'm going to just try to get all of my stuff local, which will now impact, which will then impact what my the kind of money that I have to spend when I'm putting my products out. It may even impact the quality of the products, because made in the ain't always the best. We like to go across them seas so we can get things looking a little prettier when it comes to packaging. So, some of these, right here, good old boys don't have, they don't have stuff looking back to 1919 packaging. Who knows? I think even a couple of times they have said, "Oh, we'll go back to the old package." Yeah, because you don't have no new designs. But let me not come for them, because I'll get started. Let's stay on topic. So you see the egg shortage, and the recalls. So a lot of the recalls are just based on the fact that they're trying to pull those packages that have no labeling of allergens and putting them back in the stores once that's done. So that's a good thing. But then you have the bird flu, and it's a real thing, and you have it spreading across state to state, not isolated cases here and there. I think the largest cases that I last saw was Kansas, right? But so that's kind of impacting farms and what happens when it comes to farming and what they have to do. So sometimes that does impact, and when that kind of an impact happens, um you know they got to get the food that may have been contaminated, and they do have to get it off of the shelves, and how it could be impacting people. And um and so a lot, that could come with a lot. So a lot of the recalls aren't necessarily about that. It's the food is going to make you sick. Like I said, some of the recalls are based on the fact that they have to get those allergens listed on there. So we're not in that space to judge it here or there, right? All right, you guys. So I'm going to get to the Social Security update, and I'm going to get to the Southwest update. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a little breather for just a minute, and then we'll come back, and then we're going to get that update in before we close out. Okay, lovers, y'all, some rock stars. Thank you for still being here if you are. You some rock stars are pushing through with this cold that I have, because I'm going through trying to get this content out for y'all. But I got you. I got you. It's not a problem. Okay, so Social Security. I did tell people that I'm close to, my family, and everybody, get on the Social Security website, and I say it even more so because I saw it starting to trend across the news, and that they didn't knocked on the door, knocked on the door. His boys is in the house, so Elon and the Doge and his boys, they there. So I want you to get on the website as soon as you can, because those young kids probably work until 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't know. I just think you should go on there and at least print your statements. You have that right to do that. So if you've never been on the website, make sure you do that. If you have a job and you've been working, you need to get on there and get your business. Print out what your business is since the first job that you ever had. It's an easy little click on it, and there it is, and you'll see every job you ever worked since the first time you got your job at 9 years old. Oh, wait a minute. That was just me. Okay, so no, my 9-year-old job isn't on there, but my first job at 17 is. But I did work since 9 years old. But so your business is there. So go to ssa.gov and print your statements. Don't wait until somebody tells you something, or you see a TikToker exaggerating, and then you go into a panic because you wait. Go print it. I have no clue. I cannot predict the future. I do have a discerner, and God has shown me a lot of things, but I talk in smaller circles about the things that I've seen. So when you hear me say something, just do it. This is not financial advice. Because some of y'all get all crazy and want to sue for the because my pinky toe made you hurt. I don't know. Y'all just do some weird stuff. So we have to add in allegedly and this and that. We have to say so many things as podcasters to keep y'all from wanting to get rich because somebody rubbed you the wrong way. All right. So go on there, Social Security website, print your statements, do what you need to do to make sure you know about your business if something goes down. All right. And then also, Southwest Airlines just joined in massive layoffs. Now, what I did see in regard to those layoffs at Southwest Airlines is that it's on a corporate. It's corporate, and I think they says 15 to 1,700 being laid off. So whether or not that's going to impact the workers a little underneath that depend on those jobs, from the checking bags to luggage to um, the airline attendants, to pilots that work with Southwest. I don't know whether or not that impacts them or not, but I do know that they are doing a major corporate shift and they are laying off in the higher ups. 1,500 was the number that I saw with the Southwest Airlines layoffs. So that's huge. So anybody in, be very sensitive to people that that are working in that space because they are probably nervous as to what's next. Wish I could tell you. All I'd say is just learn how to pay attention because as excited as I am about Kendrick Lamar breaking, records and Drake getting his feelings hurt, we still have to turn around and pay attention to the things that matter as well, right? You see me, I have a lot of fun making my little TikTok reels and TikToks and Instagram reels and YouTube shorts. And I have fun pausing and having like a little bit of, downtime, but then, we got to get to the stuff. And that's what we do as podcasters, right? All right, so again, I say that you can join the live. You can feel free. The link is in the comments. If you are over on YouTube, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have taken the show from up by 200 subscribers since December. So I appreciate you. I know how if you're a content creator on YouTube, you know how important it is to get for me to get to on my thousand journey and for me to get to my even 10,000 journey. You know how important that is. TikTok, you guys have been increasing those numbers. So I just appreciate you guys for that. Instagram and Facebook, y'all slow, because I kind of know too many of y'all, the strangers are, where I don't know anyone, they're doing a lot more with supporting and believing in me. Like all of y'all that have seen me been do it since 2010. Like if y'all moved like these strangers have been moving for the last 30 to 40 to 60 days, if y'all hadn't moved like that since 2010, who knows where we would be. We wouldn't be there with Diddy because we wouldn't have went to no Diddy parties, but we could have been pretty high up. But let's get back to the business at hand. All right, so yeah, the link is in the comments for those who want to stop up. If it's only a few more minutes left, but yes, feel free. So yeah, my concern is about the future of jobs. The future. I see organizations shutting down that's been Black jobs. I see Gen Xers. I see a real ouch happening. Right, like these jobs that you went to college for, right? You went to college to get these jobs and you had a plan to retire on these jobs. And all of a sudden, these are the organizations that they're coming for. And these are the organizations that are cutting Gen X jobs. USPS? Come on. Gen X jobs. Layoffs at Southwest? Probably Gen X jobs. hmm Um, the future of jobs in the company, the federal agency closing, cutting off jobs. I don't know if jobs are going to be cut, but we haven't heard that. But a lot going on, starting in the Social Security, looking at Project 2025, seeing all the organizations, the Department of Agriculture, Department of VA, Department of Education, seeing the places that they plan to make these changes. Gen X jobs, minority jobs, Black jobs. That was a joke for y'all for a long time, but this is serious now. If you a failure to plan will be a plan to fail. You better put some planning in place. You better get started. They told me to watch something, and I've been watching it. I'm coming to y'all as soon as I'm done watching it, and hopefully I'll finish it today. And baby, if they are saying that it's the blueprint, it's a documentary, and it happened in another country. And if this is what they're doing here, a plan to take care of yourself. Stop overspending, stop wasting money, stop playing so that you can take care of yourself and survive. Because they are playing the survival of the fittest game. Hollywood artists and the artists are kicking up the distractions. So you're just going to have to do your best. Sorry, you guys, I have to stop. I have to pause again and get a drink. Mm, sorry. So this cold is getting me, and I'm trying to stay hydrated. So yeah, Hollywood is good at that. Got movies coming out, G20. That's very relevant with Viola Davis coming out in April on my son's birthday. But there's just like so many just oh my goodness. It's just so many different movies that are coming out, and shows that are out that I'm watching, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, are they trying to tell us something? Like, you look at the trailers of some of the things, and watch some of the movies in dark and things that are happening. Hollywood's busy trying to say, God is trying to tell us something, and so is Hollywood. Okay, like really, literally. And then artists are kicking up the distractions, and when hip hop and R&B just get to cutting up heavy metal and country, they'll lay back. But when hip hop and R&B get to kicking it up everywhere, if you're on my TikTok, you heard me on live talking about the Suge Knight call as he did a rebuttal to Ray J, and Ray J's all over the waves. The distractions that kept kicking up for my people. Yeah, something coming, you know. And we need to be very aware and not so distracted, and enjoy the distractions. We appreciate Hollywood and what they do, and artists and what they do, but don't get carried away where you're not paying attention, right? All right, so I was going to tell you, when it comes to mucus, you could follow Motivational Doc on YouTube, and Dr. Eric Berg. Great videos up. Those are some people that I've been paying attention to, and they have some tips. So that's where I got those tips from. So go check them out. D Shields, I appreciate you guys for stopping by and listening. YouTube, Facebook, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and leave some comments, share, and turn on the notification and subscribe. We're almost at 1K. You guys showed out over the last week. We're almost there. We're almost there. So keep it coming, YouTube. I appreciate you for me on the podcast on the platform, because it was a huge packing move to come from the other podcast platform to try to shift and restart here. But y'all got me. I appreciate you. All right. Talk to you guys later.